Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now celebrating 17 years of broadcasting success, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, both for our radio audience here in Mississippi and our online audience tuning in, thanks to our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast. Glad you all could be with us as well. Well, there's been a lot going on in the country over the past couple of weeks, but one of the things that has definitely come up is the role of social media, as well as, of course, information online. It's one of those topics that comes up quite a bit, especially when it comes to Congress. Our next two guests are here to tell us about maybe some possible changes we might see in tech policy, and also, is that really a good thing? Is that something that's needed? We're excited to welcome to our program today for the first time Steve-delbianco, the president and CEO of NetChoice, as well as Carl Szabo. He's the vice president at NetChoice. We'll talk to them not only about tech policy, but also what you guys may need to know about the antitrust laws that may be changing as well. Thanks to the two of you for the time. Really appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, Cyrus. This is Steve, and you talked about the sea change that we had in this country on January the 6th. But even before then, think about the controversies and the uncharted waters that our country was in. We are in the middle of a pandemic and a lockdown. We're a divided nation, both politically and economically. And I think you'd agree that America seems to be losing her way in the world. We're also losing our global leadership position. But the bright spot in the middle of all that was that America's tech companies still lead the world and enabled your listeners to endure the COVID lockdowns, to connect with families and friends over Zoom, to get information on healthcare best practices, to continue their careers and their education online. And it's helped restaurants and small businesses to reach customers that weren't allowed to enter their stores. In other words, the tech industry was really helping America out. And the events of January 6th have suddenly polarized both ends of the political spectrum to where they're suddenly eager to take down America's tech businesses. And I think we all need to take a breath, look back on what happened on January 6th, and understand that social media platforms had to crank the dial on what was being said, since there's a real danger, we watched it all on our televisions, a real danger of inciting violence from American to American. And that was the time that I think our industry did a responsible thing.
Steve, to that point, and thank you so much for that, I think, what people are thinking now, of course, with the new administration coming in, do you expect to see big change when it comes to tech companies and the way that they're treated?
I would say the Biden administration is going to focus entirely on COVID. They're going to help to stem the spread, get the vaccines out, and help this economy dig out from the hole we are in. In that respect, the administration has full appreciation for the role that tech will play at restarting the economy, and helping small businesses tell their customers they're back online. And I think that focus is exactly where it should be.
Carl, I want to bring you into the conversation, if you don't mind. I mentioned one of the things I've been noticing, even here in Mississippi on the news, they're talking about, of course, antitrust laws. Talk to us about exactly what that is and what changes some companies may be facing, if any.
Yeah, antitrust law is a simple way to think about it. It's lack of choice that results in consumer harm. Think about a town with only one supermarket that decides to jack up prices. That would be an antitrust concern. But when it comes to the Internet, those concerns seem to dissolve away because there is so much choice out there. You mentioned that people can not only listen to you over the air, but now through services like iHeartRadio. That's an example of how the Internet is bringing people more choices and more opportunity to receive content, to say things, and to make purchasing decisions. One of the things Steve mentioned was how the Internet's helping small businesses come back online. Now I can buy from a seller in Mississippi, even though I don't live anywhere near Mississippi. And that's a wonderful tool of the Internet, is it has created choice, and with that choice has resulted in lower prices for all of us.
I think that is such a good point, and I think one of the positives sometimes that people definitely need to keep in mind. So with the way that things seem to be moving, Steve, I'll go back to you. I mean, what do businesses and consumers need to know? Is they're kind of hearing the conversations that are taking place and thinking about what changes may be coming?
Yeah, they need to understand that social media will moderate content to keep its advertisers and its audience happy, and that is a moving dial based on threats that exist in the real world. You need to remember that social media isn't the full story, that an awful lot of traditional broadcasts and print media have been spreading some of the misinformation that led some Americans to believe the election was stolen. And that's created a lot of discord in our society. And when it comes to the new administration, I think that Americans, particularly those of Mississippi, want to listen for warning signs that some in Congress would want to change the country's antitrust laws, change them in ways that advance their own agenda. For instance, forcing companies to go through an environmental protection agency review before they conduct a merger, or allowing mergers to be blocked if they don't necessarily maintain the kind of worker wages and equality standards that some on the left are pushing for. So I believe that antitrust law, as Carl described, is rather narrow. It's about protecting consumers. It isn't supposed to be about advancing social policies.
A lot of great information. I'm glad to have the two of you here to be able to break it down for us. Again, everyone, Steve Delbianco as well as Carl Szabo of NetChoice are here talking with us about what we need to know about possible changes that may be coming when it comes to tech policy, but also the role, of course, that all of us, I think, have realized about the role, especially of social media and how we can benefit from it, especially in what we've been dealing with the pandemic. Steve, Carl, really appreciate this time. Steve, where can our audience go for more information?
Our website, where our mission is to keep the internet safe for free enterprise and free expression, has a lot of information on the tech industry and consumers interacting with tech. That's at www.netchoice.org, netchoice.org. Thank you, Cyrus.
Thank you to the two of you. We'll make sure that we link that for our audience joining us via the podcast. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Let's go make today amazing. Take care.